Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy and excited to share this message with this collective today because it is so powerful and there is a lot of heart activation going on in this reading. There's a lot of higher consciousness, tapping into your true self, your highest self, and releasing, and a lot of shedding. There's a lot of releasing and shedding going on. And for whoever is in this collective, like, congratulations, because you have just had a massive shift and a massive breakthrough. Before we begin, let's go ahead and take a couple deep breaths together so that we can really be present and connect together. So let's go ahead and inhale, and we're gonna hold it for 3 seconds and then exhale and count to 7 while you're exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Really drop your shoulders, feel the presence of your body, your blood warming up. Inhale, exhale. You're really dropping down into your body. Inhale, exhale. Okay, feels really great. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and begin with Ishtar. Ishtar's Lion Gate 888. This is a very powerful card, and I'm gonna go ahead and read from the book. There's a couple things I want to read from the book, so because I think it's a really powerful message. So it says, your heart has a heightened connection with the higher realms of consciousness and light. A blessing, empowerment, and positive omen shall enter your world. Doors will open for you. Abundance and prosperity are headed your way. Take care of your heart. Ask for spiritual assistance, and it shall be granted. Something negative is going to transform into something very positive. So while I was reading that, I actually was hearing that you have just jumped into a new timeline. You have shedded old versions of yourself, and your heart is starting to activate. There's a lot of heart activation in this reading, a lot of it. And it also says that, I guess I'll go ahead and explain to you guys about Ishtar. So it says Ishtar is the queen of the night, a dark goddess of loss and letting go, but also a priestess of light who holds the keys to renewal from suffering. She is relentless in her pursuit of the path to true inner freedom. She willingly surrenders her attachment and her identities, even separating herself temporarily from her loved ones, with such boldness and confidence that she crosses into realms where others dare not to go. She experiences vulnerability, and in that state discovers deep truth. Ishtar is the capacity of the soul to integrate our experiences, and after reaching the greatest depths of suffering, she emerges and is reinstated upon her rightful throne with even greater wisdom, spiritual power, and compassion. In a reading, she is the guardian and symbol of resurrection. You shall rise again. Those who have felt as though their identity or any other marker of security has been torn away from them are her children. They will find their way back to peace and prosperity under her. If you have been suffering, this oracle indicates an end of the struggle. You shall be restored with so much more than you have lost. The 888 frequency will stimulate your soul in its unique way. So if you feel called to, you can put the 888 frequency on YouTube and like meditate with it for a few minutes. That way you can really feel the frequency of this card. So the oracle of this card, it brings a breakthrough of healing and massive changes in your life. Massive abundance is coming through, and that could be peace, that could be spiritual upliftment, that could be actual physical abundance, something coming in your way, new opportunities because you have had this breakthrough, because you have been doing the self-work, the shadow work, maybe the inner child healing. Maybe you've had a very traumatic thing happen in your life. This could be in your adulthood. For some of you it's in your adulthood, for some it's a childhood, or maybe even in your teenage years, that you have just released. And with that being said, you're starting to look at yourself with different eyes. You're starting to see yourself with your third eye, for who you truly are. And that is where all of this heart activation is starting to come through. You're making time for yourself. You're starting to do more self-love activities. This could be giving yourself like a spa day or a simple meditation just to set into your frequency. And I just heard you're starting to set into your frequency more. With this card, that I'm getting the message that it's time to unleash yourself into the world. It's time to start being seen again and not be afraid to be seen. And you are really starting to unleash your kind of self into the world and learn how to play again, release your inner child. I'm getting a lot of inner child energy coming out here that you're starting to really tap into again. And that's really the key to abundance in life, is the lens through a child and learning how to play again. And that's also something that I have really felt lately too, because I am also a part of this collective reading. And a little story, is I had also had, some traumatic childhood experiences, and they had affected me a lot throughout my life. And within the past few years, I've really been going through a massive transformation and doing the shadow work and, the guided meditations for specific things that I had been through. And I have really been tapping into my inner child lately, and I just recently have had a massive breakthrough and shedded something, the darkness within me that had been weighing me down and suppressing me. And I had really tapped into my higher self and my childhood self. And I was watching a movie with my daughter the other day. It was one of my favorite childhood movies, and it was The Page Master. And for the first time in a long time, I could feel the excitement of the movie as like I did for the first time that I ever watched it when I was a kid. And I could feel my child self, and it felt so magical and it felt amazing. So you're never too old for things that you loved as a child. And I do encourage you to find whatever you enjoyed as a child, or maybe even new crafts or hobbies or interests, that light your child spirit up, and it's gonna make your life so much more magical. It really will. So we're stepping into self-love. We're stepping into our child spirit. We're being more kind to ourselves. That is all great news. Then we have Ponopono, Immeasurable Power of the Heart Way. I'm going to read from the book a part of the message that it says, because these cards, they have such long messages, but I'm only going to read what really speaks out in the book here. So it says, let your heart feel the faith it needs to feel so that it can rest in joy. Divine healing wants to flow abundantly for you. Open up to receive it without hesitation or condition. Pono in the Hawaiian tradition has deep and multiple meanings, one expression of which is the return to order. There is a perfection of peace, beauty, and fulfillment that the divine has planned for the lives of all beings. Through the use of human free will, we have at times moved away from what is the divine plan, stumbled on the path, and become ensnared in terrible suffering and frightening delusion. This can become contagious, infecting other souls. So with this heart activation energy coming through, You're really being called to lead with your heart and step more into that energy. And that is going to lead you to, instead of going with your mind and always being in your mind, you're being called to lead more with your heart and what your heart is telling you, and what you're feeling from your heart, because that's actually going to lead you to the right path. This collective is in a rebuilding phase, but not from survival anymore. That we're creating safety and stability and belonging on our own terms. So with the beaver and birch home card, it speaks of intention and creation. You're in a phase of designing your life with purpose. Okay, so many in this collective have experienced instability emotionally, physically, financially, or spiritually. And I heard that you are learning how to create a home within yourself now. So we are completely starting from scratch with this new version of ourselves that we are starting to step into. You're not meant to rush or force, but you do need to put boundaries with people who drain your energy, because now that you're stepping into this higher version, some of you are actually moving or have moved into a physical home, as well as going through building this new home within yourself. You're setting boundaries. You're not putting up with people that you used to put up with anymore. And I'm also hearing some of you need to create the boundaries with those family members or friends that you give a lot of your energy to, because this drains your life force, and you need to, I'm hearing your life force is sacred, and you need to start taking care of that life force energy and start protecting it more. That way you'll have that energy for yourself to create your creations and to bring in your manifestations and dreams and abundance. Because when you're spreading yourself thin for other people, you don't leave anything for yourself. So you need to put yourself first. That way you can give that energy out to the right people, but this collective, this reading is all about making time for yourself. It's all about self-love. And with self-love comes spreading light into the world and sharing your light with others, But we can't do that unless we have that energy to do that. So it's really important that you make the time for yourself first. And I'm also hearing, if you haven't moved yet, if you are calling in a new home, that could definitely be coming in soon. Also, I just heard make the home like your actual physical space. If you haven't moved yet and you do, maybe you could rearrange and make your home your sanctuary. Make your home reflect your internal world, so that in the meantime, you are enjoying your space. Get rid of clutter and things that you don't resonate with anymore, because that can also cause stagnant energy and energy that you don't want within your home. This is what I do. I go through every item and I hold it and I say, am I actually in love with this item? Does it light up my heart? Does it make me feel amazing? Or am I just holding on to it, just to hold on to it? So releasing that clutter and those physical items, it really does make a huge difference in the way your house feels, the way you feel. It declutters your mind. I always think that your home is a reflection of your inner world. Okay, so now we have the Archer and we have the Hunter. And I kind of channeled these messages together because they kind of went hand in hand. So I got, stop comparing your journey to others and take your time on your journey. Everyone's journey is unique. We're all unique. We all have our own paths. So we can't compare ourselves to others. And when we do this, it just creates insecurities. It creates blocks. It's, as human, it's natural to do this, but we gotta stop doing this, because it does not serve any purpose for us when we do this. So we got to start focusing on our own journey and our own path and what that looks like for us. And for a lot of us in this collective, we are actually starting to do that. We're starting to realize our own worth. We're learning what is worth our energy and what also must be protected. So you're being asked by Spirit to stop overgiving and to aim with intention with every choice that you make and how that contributes to what you're building and what you want to build. And with the Hunter card, you're being called to block out all distractions and focus on completing your tasks. You know, we can easily get distracted, you know, on a day-to-day basis, but it's time to really start cultivating what we want our reality to look like, what we want. I'm hearing with your goals, you know, take one goal at a time and start working on that goal day by day. Day by day, start small, you know, and you'll get there within time, but we don't have to rush it. We just got to take it step by step and we'll get there. But you're being called out now. You're being called out into the light, and it's time to really, a lot of you in this collective are very, very spiritual gifted, and you have a lot of wisdom to share with the world. So it's time to start putting yourself out there. If you've been wanting to create your own YouTube or a blog or a book, you're being called to do that now. Now is your time to shine, especially with this transformation that you just went through. You're ready. You are ready now. And Spirit really, really wants me to push that message out there, because you are not your past. You have completely transformed, and it's time to let that go. You have shedded that, just like the butterfly, the caterpillar sheds from the cocoon into this beautiful butterfly. That's what you are now. You are this butterfly. So it's time to let that go. And a lot of you have let that go. A lot of you are not defined by your past anymore. You don't even resonate with that anymore. You do not resonate by that, you know, old version of yourself, but you respect that version of yourself. And it's important to respect that version of yourself, because you had to go through that for a reason to become who you are now. So with the Bat and Hellborn, you're being asked to trust what you cannot yet see, because whatever you've been calling in, it's coming to you. You don't need to know how, you don't need to know when, but it's coming to you. And whenever you focus on the how or when too much, it actually can create a block. So you're being called to trust the process, and trust that that whatever is rightfully yours is coming to you. Okay, so the Bat energy moves through darkness and intuition rather than sight. Your answers, they're not coming from logic, but they're actually coming from your inner knowing. And you're starting to gain a stronger sense of intuition with this transformation that you've gone through. So you're being asked to trust when something doesn't feel right. Really trust your intuition, because your intuition is picking up so strongly right now with this new version of yourself. And you know when something feels right or wrong or off, or you may even receive downloads or messages, and you're being asked to trust those because you have that gift. This collective is actually very highly intuitive and spiritually gifted. So I just want to take a second and congratulate you guys, because you've gone through a lot of darkness and you made it. You finally made it. Like, this is your sign here. You don't need to do any more digging. You have made it through the other side. Now you're being called to step into your power, to shine your truth. You know, you're being called to step forward as a light warrior, because that's what this collective is. This collective isn't going to be for everyone. It definitely is for a select few. So Hellborn, which is the herb, the flower here, it's the flower of intuition and strength, and it blooms in the winter. So this message is, you don't need all the details yet. You're being guided. Silence, rest, and observation are very, very important at this time. Don't overthink. Go within and just observe. Rest. Meditate. Do your daily breaths, your yoga, whatever it is that centers yourself. Yeah, this collective needs a lot of rest because you've gone through a lot, and with that massive shift and breakthrough, some of you will be really exhausted, and you're gonna need to kind of recalibrate your energy. Some of you will feel a massive amount of energy, you know, but don't exert it to the point where you feel burnt out. Take it little by little. Little by little, baby steps. Okay, and I also just heard you have a lot of dreams and goals that you want to do, but you can't do them all at once. Sorry, my dog is in the background. You can't do them all at once to the point where you feel burnt out. Do it when you feel lit up in the moment, and work at it little by little, and don't try to do it all at once, because that's gonna make you feel burnt out and depleted, and you need that energy. Everything moving forward is gonna be okay. You're heavily protected and you're heavily guided in this time. You have a lot of ancestors coming through, a lot of spirit guides that are really pushing you and guiding you. So tap in and ask them to guide you, because sometimes they don't step in unless your spirit guides they want you to communicate more with them. They want you to ask for the help that you need or for the guidance. And too many distractions can actually block the messages that are coming in from them. So that's also why this card is here. Right now, your intuition is mapping your way forward. So you really don't even need guidance. You know your way. All you have to do is trust your intuition. You guys have a very, very strong intuition. So just trust. So before you guys go, I want to do a small activation together, and I think this is really going to anchor in that trust and ourselves and our inner knowing and our inner guidance. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in, and we're going to hold it for 3 seconds again, and we're going to release and count to 7 as we're exhaling. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Drop your shoulders. Release the tension in your neck. Really anchor into your body. Feel your energy, your being. Okay, deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now repeat after me, silently or out loud. I trust my inner knowing, and I listen before I act. My intuition guides me safely forward. I carry this awareness within me. I trust my inner knowing. I listen before I act. My intuition guides me safely forward. I carry this awareness within me. I trust my inner knowing. I listen before I act. My intuition guides me safely forward. I carry this awareness within me. Let's go ahead and take one more deep breath in through your nose and hold it at the top for 3 seconds. Release. You are now activated. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this guided oracle reading, and thank you for stopping by. I really truly appreciate it. If you feel called to, I would love to hear your journey or something that you have transformed, or just something that's been going in your life. And if you have stayed for the full reading, please leave a butterfly. And I really, really appreciate you. So until next time,